name is Heather and I'm the Curator of Aquatics here at Josh's Frogs, and today I'm going to talk to you about a species spotlight on Corydoras Catfish. Here we have a few different varieties that we work with at the store. What's important to know about Cory Catfish, sometimes they're known as Corys, Corydoras. Corydoras is actually a genus of catfish in the family Callichthyidae. They're a type of armored catfish found throughout South America. There's about 170 described species and 100 more that are undescribed. And they are ideal, peaceful bottom feeders in a lot of community aquariums. They're all sorts of colors and patterns. As you can see here, we have everything from sort of these tank rays, like albino variants, like this Corydoras aeneas, bronze Cory albino, to these bronze Corys, which are the normal variety, which you see are a little more brown. A lot of them are kind of a brownish color, gray. Sometimes they'll have spots, sometimes they'll have stripes. Things like the stir-by Corys that we actually have available on our website right now. These guys right here are actually known as some of the prettier varieties of Cory cats out there. They have kind of a spotty pattern, kind of whitish spots on a dark, rich brown background with orange in their pectorals as they get older. And then we have varieties like these guys here, and these are actually not, they do not have a species. They are not fully described. They are known as, in the trade, as gold laser Corys, or they have a CW number, CW010. This was invented by Ian Fuller, and it stands for Corydoras World. There used to be a C number that preceded that. Basically, it just means we're giving them a number. We don't really know where they sit in their taxonomy yet, but that's how we identify them in the trade. And these guys, as you can tell, are very beautiful. They have almost this vibrant gold, orangish color, a stripe going down them. So there's a lot of really cool ones, and there's a lot of different varieties that you can choose. What makes them ideal for aquariums is that they stay small. They only get about tops 3 or 4 inches on the largest species. And then the smaller species, like pygmy Corys, only get about an inch or 2. So you can keep them in anything from a 5 to 10 gallon to 20, 30 or more. What they sometimes lack in color, although some of them are very beautiful, some of them are kind of more plain, they have really playful antics. They're very social. They like to be in groups. We don't recommend keeping them in schools of less than 6. They can be mix and match. Different species can live with each other. You can have a few, as long as their temperature requirements and such are the same, you can mix things like bronze Corys, peppered Corys, Julie Corys. You can sort of have a few of each and have just mix-match school, and they'll all get along. So very peaceful. One thing to know about setting up an aquarium and with Cory cats long-term, they do tend to rely on their sensitive barbels on the underside of their mouth for finding food. So what's important is that because they're so sensitive, you need to make sure that the substrate is appropriate for them. Sharp gravel, a lot of times just any gravel that's rough is not best for them. The other thing is that they are naturally adapted to sifting their food out of the substrate. So we recommend sand whenever you're keeping Cory cats. We actually have a new product on our website right now. This is the aquarium paludarium sand. It has a little cute Cory on the front, a little panda Cory right there. This is ideal for them, and you can buy it by the bag here. It's the perfect size for them to sort of filter through their gills. It's kind of fun to watch. Things that they like to eat include, they're omnivorous, so things they like to eat include anything from live fare, like live small worms, like black worms, white worms we sell in cultures here. These can be fed sparingly. They are very fatty, so you want to be careful not to overdo it. This is like the perfect size for Cory cats, and you can culture these at home. They can also do frozen. Sometimes you can do frozen food like frozen bloodworms and a little sparingly. They can also do frozen brine, things like that. They'll pretty much eat anything that hits the bottom of the tank. I like to do rapashi with them a lot. So we have a lot of rapashi diets that are suitable for these animals. Community Plus is nice because it's a community blend meant for omnivorous fish. Spawn and Grow is great when you're trying to get these guys in condition and when you're trying to raise babies. But like I outlined in the rapashi video, something you don't want to do all the time because again, it's very fatty. Another thing that's great that you can do, and you can sort of mix in different dry diets. You want sinking wafers, kind of like these Corydora or Cory wafers that Tetra makes here. These are designed specifically for Cory cats. We also have Catfish pellets, these are previously known as shrimp pellets. Any carnivorous sinking pellet or omnivorous sinking pellet is going to be ideal for them. They're not going to really love eating things like algae wafers. They're not going to be an algae eater in your aquarium, but they may pick at it if you have plecos that you're keeping alongside Cory cats. So a couple cool facts about Cory cats. They're actually both venomous and poisonous. This is not significant to humans, meaning that their venom is not going to send you to the hospital. But you want to be careful when handling them. They do have very sharp spines on their pectorals, and if they break the skin, it's kind of like a bee sting if they get you. So you're going to be careful when netting them, not to grab them, or they will sting you and it'll hurt. It definitely has happened to me before. It's not fun. You won't die though. So that's sort of a defense mechanism. In general, they are a very armored body. They have these scales on the side of them that protect them. The name Corydoras actually roughly translates to helmet armor. They're definitely very well protected. A lot of other fish are probably not going to want to eat them. The other adaptation that makes them actually poisonous is that when they're stressed, they can release a toxin that is meant to ward off predators. So if they grab them and they get stressed out, it's probably very bad tasting. What you have to watch out for in aquariums is if you stress them out and you don't have any like activated carbon or anything and you don't do a quick water change, they can actually poison themselves in their aquarium. So you want to be careful not to stress them out overly when transporting them, and just make sure that, when possible, use activated carbon in their filter, keep up on changing that out monthly, and keep an eye on them, make sure that they seem happy and healthy. Most of the time, this is not an issue at all. It's mostly when they're transported. And when you get Cory cats from us, a lot of times we'll have a little bit of carbon in the bag itself, and this is meant to sort of neutralize and help reduce any DOAs so that they're not going to poison themselves in the bag. Another little neat fact, if you're trying to breed them at all, these guys will sometimes just lay eggs on the side of the glass. They'll lay eggs like underneath plants, any hard surface that they want to just lay eggs on if they're in spawning condition, if they're a lot of times you can't sex them unless they're mature. And when they're mature, the only way to really reliably know you have males and females is that the females are a lot thicker, wider from the top view, and the males are a lot slimmer. And they tend to be a little smaller. And what's really interesting about their breeding behavior, though, is you ever catch it happening, the males will chase the females around, and it's not fully understood how they fertilize their eggs, but it's thought to be internal. And so the male will actually assume what's called a T position, and he'll wrap himself around the female's mouth, and he'll release the sperm, and she'll take it into her mouth, and it's thought that she'll kind of release it through her vent, goes through her gut, and then it fertilizes the eggs, and then she'll swim around with these little eggs between her ventral fins, and then she'll find somewhere to push them, and she'll have batches of, 3 or so eggs at a time. A mature female could have several hundred eggs, especially a female this size, like these. These are actually very full-grown Corydoras aeneas. So generally, if Cory cats have been kept in captivity, bred in captivity, they're fairly forgiving. Their pH, a lot of times they can be anywhere from 7 to 8 as long as they're acclimated properly. If you want to breed them, usually they have to have a pH drop, and that's usually what triggers them. These guys are a really rewarding fish to keep in your aquarium, and we think you'll enjoy them. Just make sure that they have the right substrate, the right foods, and they'll live many, many years for you. They can live up to 5-10 years in captivity, some even more.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Here at Josh's Frogs, bringing nature to your doorstep is more than just our mission, it's our passion. We want you to have the most successful experience possible, so we're going to be here for you before, during, and after your purchase, whether that's with our captive-bred animals, plants, insects, or the wide variety of their care products on our website. You always have access to our dedicated customer service team, on-site nature experts, hundreds of free articles via our blog, and many more videos right here on our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe. We're always happy to help. Just shoot us an email or give us a call. You can find all of this information and more at joshsfrogs.com. Thanks again, and see you next time.